Hey friends, how are we doing tonight? I'm going to give everybody just a couple seconds to jump on. It is right at 8 o'clock and I did not want to keep you guys waiting. I also did not want to start too soon and have anyone miss out. I am Nicole Dodge and I am a mom and a wife. I have 4 children. My husband and I have 4 children. Luke, Josie, Kate, and Benjamin. They are currently 7, 5, 3, and 1. Life is busy and always so much fun. Hey, Mary. Hey, Martha. Hey, Paula. I see you guys jumping on, which lets me know that the video is working, which is always such a good thing. So I'm going to be right here, right inside this one video tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning into class. I am going to leave this class up through Friday night. So if you have folks who couldn't join, or if you had folks after you watch this that you want to invite, you are welcome to do that. I just have to give you guys a big round of applause for being here. I know that there are other things that you could be doing with your Thursday night, and I'm grateful that you decided to come and spend it with me. I love social media. I love the fact that we get to connect, even though we can't see each other. You can see me. I can't see you. But it is like, this is going to be like the very best thing ever, with the exception of being able to have you right here in my space. That is my favorite thing, is when we can all get each other together. But that's hard. I know that's super hard. So I'm really grateful that you're choosing to spend your time with me tonight when I know you have a million other things to do. Even if you do need to jump off, you can totally come back at any point. I do recommend just sticking with me through the whole class though, only because I know we're human, and I know that if I walk away from something, the chances of me coming back to it are low. And I think that I have information that you're going to want and that you're going to want to hear before the end of class. So just hang with me. My goal is to have us in and out within an hour. Okay. So, and then I'll leave some time at the end as well for questions and answers. We are going to jump right in and get going. So I mentioned to you guys that I have 4 children. The oldest will actually be 8 in September, and I was introduced to essential oils when he was just a baby. My doula actually told me about this stuff called Eucalyptus essential oil because he was dealing with a stuffy nose. He was 6 weeks old, and if you guys have ever had a baby who is stuffy, you know that it completely keeps them from being able to fall into any sort of sleep. As a new mom, I was already completely sleep deprived anyway, and just wanted to get like 90 minutes of straight sleep without having to sit straight up in a chair to let a baby breathe. My husband was in chiropractic school, which completely turned our lives on their heads. I was raised in a pretty normal American home, as was my husband. We had junk food, we had candy, we had, all the normal stuff that you would find in an average American home. So when I went, or when I feel like I went, when he went to chiropractic school, and we started learning more about some of the medicines that we trusted, some of the foods that we trusted, some of the, even basics like fruits and vegetables and the types of sprays and pesticides that were put on them, we were honestly shocked. It was completely new information to us. We had no idea that there were so many unwanted side effects from toxins in our world. And when we got pregnant and decided to bring another baby or a baby into this world, we really wanted to do as much as we could naturally for him. So when he was congested at 6 weeks old, we in a former life probably would have reached for something like Tylenol in hopes that it helped, or something over the counter from the drugstore. But we knew that we really didn't want to put those things into our baby's body if it wasn't absolutely necessary. So we were willing to lose sleep and sit upright if that was what was going to help. My doula told us about this stuff called Eucalyptus essential oil. She said, it smells kind of like Vicks VapoRub. And I know you don't want to use Vicks VapoRub because there's petroleum-based products in it, like gasoline. Ew. And we didn't want to put that on his skin. So she said, go to the store and just pick up some eucalyptus. That's the scent that you find in Vicks VapoRub. Just go get that. And so I went to the store. At the time, we lived in Texas, in Dallas, Fort Worth. Shout out below where you guys are from. We currently live in Virginia now, but at the time we lived in Dallas, Fort Worth area in Texas. And so I ran to the grocery store, our local natural grocers. It's called Sprouts. It's a chain that you'll find all over the place now, and picked up some eucalyptus, brought it home, and within maybe 24 hours, I had used like half the bottle. I was putting it in the well that's on the top of like a warm air humidifier in the bedroom, just kept evaporating. I would be able to smell it pretty well when it very first came out of the bottle, and that was it. And then it would kind of just dissipate. And honestly, you guys, I just kind of wrote essential oils off. I was like, that's great that she thinks these natural products work, but they're doing nothing. And I was kind of complaining to my sister-in-law, just feeling frustrated. And she said, hey, I have this essential oil that has eucalyptus in it. It's a blend of different oils, though. It's called Thieves. Would you like to try it? And I was like, oh my gosh, like, you've got to be joking. I just tried the eucalyptus. But she was like, I really think that it's stronger than what you've been using. Why don't you come over and I'll give you some? So I said, okay, I'll try. I'll give it a shot. So I went to her house and she took out a bottle of Thieves, folded a paper towel in half, and put 5 drops of Thieves essential oil on a paper towel. She stuck it in a Ziploc bag and sent me home. And I got out of her house and I sat in the car and I just kind of felt dumbfounded. I was like, I've used half a bottle of eucalyptus in the last 24 hours, and you think that 5 drops of this stuff on a paper towel is gonna help me? Yeah, right. And so as I was driving back to my house, I was amazed at how much I could smell the oil through the Ziploc bag. And I thought, this stuff is pretty strong. I mean, it's in this Ziploc bag. And I got home and it was on a paper towel, so I didn't know what I was gonna do with it. And I decided I would put it between the crib mattress and the fitted sheet so that it was near his face so that he could breathe it in at night. I thought it wasn't gonna last very long. I thought it would be, super quick, one and done. Maybe the scent would stick around for 15 or 20 minutes. But that same paper towel smelled for the next 3 or 4 days. The whole house smelled amazing. And the best part was that my son could breathe. He could breathe long enough to sleep in good stretches, as good a stretch as a 6-week-old can, right? But he could breathe. And he wasn't stuck on all that snotty junk that was in his throat. He could truly, his air passages were opened up, and this scent filled our apartment. It was like a 1,200 square foot apartment. 5 drops of oil on a paper towel. I'm not kidding. So I thought, okay, maybe there's something to these essential oil things. That's awesome. But then I thought, the first brand I bought didn't work. The second brand I tried did work. So some of them work and some of them don't. I just must have bought the wrong kind the first time. So for the next 18 months, I spent jumping from one brand to the next, from oil brand to oil brand, determined to find the best product that fit the best price point for me. That is what I thought was going to make it in this world of essential oils. And I kept using brands, and one right after another, they would just fall. They would be awful. They would not work. They would have adverse effects where, I put something on a kid's skin and it would cause a burn. And I thought, what is going on here? This is nuts. Later, I learned a little bit more about why some of the brands were working so horribly. And I also learned why I kept ending up back at my sister-in-law's doorstep asking to borrow her Young Living oils. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But I just need you guys to know that from the beginning, my introduction to essential oils was rocky. If you have been skeptical about essential oils, if you have thought that things, were not going to work for you, like, I get you. I promise I get you. That is so me. So it looks like I can see you guys joining, which is super, but it doesn't look like I can see comments, which means I'm going to have to go back at the end if you guys do have questions and answer your questions at the end. I'm so sorry. I don't know why that seems to not be working on my screen tonight. I'll pull my phone out and see if I can kind of follow along there. So sorry, you guys, to add a, I can see myself. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to see the comments. There we go. Okay, there we go, guys. Let's see if I can keep an eye on questions. Okay. Now, let's start at the beginning. Okay, so you guys know, I just told you that I spent 18 months jumping from brand to brand to brand. Not the way I recommend doing it, though I do understand that some of you guys out there are natural researchers and natural skeptics, and you're gonna have to do that too. Do what you need to do to prove to yourself that the information that I'm giving you tonight is factual. I totally get it if that's you, because I never would have taken anybody else's word for it. However, if you're someone that doesn't like to do all the research, you may also trust that I have already done all of it for you. We've now been using essential oils in our home for almost 8 years. We've been members with Young Living for 6.5 years and have been using Young Living for that full 8 years too. So it took me a little while to get on board because I am like the class A skeptic. Let me tell you a little bit about essential oils. I've taught dozens of these classes, you guys, and can I just tell you that I still teach with notes? I always do, because I know that I'll leave something out if I don't. So if you have ever used, if you've ever sat in a field, whether you're, 34 or 4, and broken apart grass or flowers and gotten some of the liquid on your fingers and have smelled that scent of that plant on your fingers later, then you've experienced essential oils. They are the lifeblood of the plant. They're highly, highly concentrated to the point where a single drop of peppermint oil is the equivalent of 30-something cups of peppermint tea. So highly potent, highly, highly potent. They can come from all different parts of the plant too. It really is just going to depend on the oil itself. Some oils come from the leaves, some come from the petals, some come from the bark, some come from the roots, some come from the entire tree being distilled together. And the way that oils are distilled is kind of like moonshine in West Virginia, and I can say that because my dad and my brother-in-law are both from West Virginia. That's not a dig. That's fact. But it's basically just one huge vat of plant matter, and it's packed really, really, really tightly close. And the lid is a funnel, and warm steam is shot up through that plant, which is what extracts the oil from the plant matter. And then it just travels up through the funnel and down a tube. In the tube, it is cooled so that instead of being steam, it becomes liquid, right? When we cool steam, it becomes liquid. I'm going to take you back to like middle school science roots tonight, you guys. Get excited, I know. And at the other end, there's a vat, and the vat is the liquid, is the water, and the oil that have come from the plant material on the other side. And then the oil and water repel, so the oil will sit on top of the water, and they'll siphon the oil off of the top of the water. It's actually a fairly basic process. It's very straightforward, but there are a lot of companies out there that complicate the heck out of it because they do things like adding chemicals to the vat of plant matter to try to extract more plant, or to try to extract more oil out of the plant. And what happens when companies do that is that you're not only distilling the plants, but you're distilling the chemicals, which means that by the time the oil gets to the vat on the other side, you're also getting distilled chemical solvents in there as well, which is why it is so important to understand and trust the quality and purity of the oil that you're using. This is the huge piece that I was missing when I was jumping from company to company for those first 18 months. I kept saying, oils are oils are oils. Essential oils all mean the same thing. They say things like therapeutic grade, 100% pure on the label. But what I learned, and which I should have known because prior to working with Young Living, I used to work for very large multinational companies, and I used to help them with labeling of their products. There are all sorts of loopholes that you can work around to make it look like your product meets certain criteria, when in reality, the FDA doesn't require you meet any certain standards in order for you to put those words on your label. For instance, in the grocery store, the word natural doesn't mean anything. You can do all sorts of things with the word natural, which is why we see brown bags of Cheetos in the grocery store that say natural on them. We know that nothing about a Cheeto is natural, but when you think natural, you think of things like apples. So we think of very natural plant-based things, and we think, oh, that bag of Cheetos must be better than the bag of Cheetos on the snack aisle because it's on the organic aisle and it's in a brown package and it says natural on it. So words like therapeutic and 100% pure in the essential oils industry are laced with loopholes, and companies can put those all over the place, even when they don't necessarily mean what you as the consumer think that they mean. So it's really important that we understand and fully grasp what we're getting in the bottle. This is why Young Living has something that they call seed to seal. This is their standard. You'll see it all over their packaging. Let me see if I can show you guys. This stamp right here says seed to seal, and that is their guarantee. That guarantee is higher than other industry standards. You know, there are industry standards, and then Young Living takes it a whole step above. They hold themselves to higher standards. They even have some compliance materials and quality control materials that the United States government uses to when other companies are trying to set their own standards. Like Young Living is the gold standard. And I used to think seed to seal was some sort of fancy slogan, but it is the honest to goodness truth. They control their product from the time the seed goes into the ground until the seal goes on the bottle. And I know that because I have had the privilege, the extreme privilege, to go and plant those seeds and plant those tiny plants at 4 different Young Living farms and partner farms all over the world. So you guys, it is the honest to goodness truth. They ask us as their wholesale members to hold them to a standard that is higher than what the FDA or the FTC holds most companies to, because we want to be a company that rises above and that really sets ourselves apart. We want you guys to walk out of this class tonight and go, yes, I feel like I can trust to this company. Their transparency around their products is massive. And that is what spoke volumes to me once I fully understood that 6.5 years ago when I finally did get my wholesale membership, after I did all of that crazy digging. So let's talk a little bit about how to use your essential oils, okay? There are going to be 3 main ways. And if you do any sort of Googling, Google might talk you out of doing any of these because Google can be our best friend or our worst enemy. What I need you to understand is that you are the expert in your home. You are not more or less of an oiler if you choose to ingest an oil or just diffuse it. My biggest concern tonight is that you understand that the quality, regardless of how you choose to use it, absolutely matters, because whether we put it on our skin or breathe it into our lungs, we want to make sure that we are breathing in completely pure oils, not something that is adulterated with a synthetic, not something that a company can't stand behind, not something that a company buys off of whatever vendor is available to them. We want a plant, we want a product that we feel good putting into our lungs, on our body, or into our mouth, however we choose to use it. And Young Living is going to own and co-op all of their farms, and for their additional outside suppliers, they hold them all to the same seed to seal standards that they do on their own farms all over the world, okay? So promise, go with me here. So our 3 ways to use essential oils. I'm going to use kind of the most conservative way first and work to the least conservative way. So the number 1 most conservative way to use oils is aromatically. This is directly inhaled from the bottle. So we can, pull an oil out, put it right under our nose and breathe it in. You could put a drop of oil on your hand, rub it around, and make a little scent tent over your nose and mouth, and just breathe deeply. The one thing that I hate about doing online classes, you guys, is that nobody has come up with a way to make smell-o-vision for me yet. So I'm just gonna have to be really descriptive in how these oils smell for you tonight. And you're just gonna have to soak it all in your brain. I promise, this is one of my favorite oils, Valor. It smells so good. So you can just, put a couple oils on a cotton ball, put it in your car, put it on your air vents, put it in stinky shoes if you want to. Oils can be used for aromatic purposes. Another great way to use our essential oils aromatically is in an essential oils diffuser. So this is Young Living's Lantern diffuser, and this is beautiful. It's glass and metal, and it just slides right up here. And inside we have just an oil well. You fill it with water, add 5 to 6 drops of an essential oil of your choice, close it back down, pop the lid back on, And then back here on the back, there's an on button, an on button and a light button. So you can turn the light on if you want to. You can change the colors of the light if you want to. And you can also change the output of the diffuser. It goes, it has a high option, a low option, and then an intermittent option where it will go on and then off, and then on and then off, so that you can get up to 10 hours of use with any of these oils in the diffuser. I love a diffuser, especially for first-time oil users, especially in a home where maybe not everybody's on board about using essential oils, because you can be in control of the mood in a room. You can be in control of whether or not people are breathing in oils that are great for their immune system. You just put it in the diffuser and let it run, and everybody in the room is going to benefit from those oils, and you don't have to tackle them and slather oils on them or trick them into using oils or swallowing oils or anything. You're just going to turn the diffuser on and walk away, and most of the time they're not even going to realize that it's there. So I love aromatic use of oils. Some folks also, which I'm a mom of lots of little kids, so I don't wear diffuser jewelry very often, but there's some really awesome like diffuser earrings that are made of leather or bracelets or necklaces, and people will put oils on those as well, because diffuser jewelry doesn't have a liver or kidneys. The scent will actually stick around on them much longer. When we're going to put oils on our own body aromatically, or I mean topically, the scent is only going to stay around for 3 or 4 hours because our body will actually naturally process it out. On the back of leather, though, it's going to stick around because there's nothing there. There's no mechanism that's trying to process out the oil. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you are someone who loves pretty big jewelry, there's some really awesome options out there for aromatic use of oils too. All right, number 2, topically. So we can use our oils on our skin. Our skin is the biggest organ in our body, and it is made up mostly of water. We like to think of our skin sometimes as a barrier, like it's protecting us from the outside world, but we really need to kind of refocus how we think about our skin, because it's permeable. There are gaps in there, and it allows anything that you put on it into your body and eventually into your bloodstream. Essential oils are such tiny molecules that when you apply them topically, they enter your bloodstream within just a couple of minutes. They also are natural and made of plants, so they run their course in your body, and then they're processed out of your body within 30 to 45 minutes, which means that topical application of essential oils might need to happen more frequently than it would if you were using something like an over-the-counter medication. So keep that in mind. I always tell people, apply oils as often as you need. You can apply oils every 20 to 30 minutes until you get the desired results. Don't be afraid to use them. And definitely, if you're needing them for something, don't plan to apply them once every 8 hours. You're going to be sorely disappointed because your body functions in order to excrete things out of its system, okay? So as we're applying oils, feel confident to use them every 20 to 30 minutes if you need to, and you can totally space it out from there. Remember, you are the expert in your home, not me, so you do what works for you. We can dilute our oils as well. So some oils feel very gentle on the skin, and some oils like Thieves that I was telling you about earlier have oils in them like cinnamon and clove that can feel very hot on the skin. So you're going to want to make sure that you dilute the oils with a carrier oil, and all of those recommendations are actually on the bottle themselves. So this is Panaway, and this is an oil that does feel very cool on the skin. And if you actually lift so there's ingredients on the outside, and then if you lift the label, can you guys see right here? Lift the label right here, and it stays sticky so you can push it back down, but it's going to say directions: dilute 1 drop with 4 drops of V6 or olive oil. So V6 is Young Living's carrier oil. Olive oil is a great option. Something like coconut oil. Think of oils that you might have in your kitchen, plant-based oils: coconut oil, almond oil, avocado oil, olive oil. Those are all great carrier oils. And the idea of a carrier oil is that we are able to carry the oil across the skin over a longer distance. If I wanted an oil to, say, help my shoulder, I would have to put a lot of oil over a large area in order for that to happen. If I put just a couple drops of essential oil into a carrier oil, that vegetable-based oil, I'm able to carry it over a larger distance. Think about our skin almost like the ocean, right? We want to make sure we're using a vegetable-based oil like V6 or, olive oil, because if you think of like an oil spill on the ocean, like an oil tanker, which is petroleum based, what does it do? Just spreads out for miles on top of that surface. That's not what we want. I don't want this essential oil to sit on top of my skin for miles and not ever go into my body. I want my body to benefit from it. So I need to make sure I'm using a vegetable based oil so that the essential oil can sink down into the skin and be able to circulate throughout my bloodstream. Good? Okay. We also can use something like a roll-on top, which I'll show you in just a couple minutes, with some of these other essential oils so that we can have everything, just right at our fingertips, ready to go. And then the third way that we can use essential oils is actually internally. This is one place where I'm going to very highly caution those of you who are not yet Young Living users. Take whatever you want from this class tonight, but please hear me. I do not recommend, do not ever ingesting any other oil other than Young Living. I really don't recommend using other oils outside of Young Living, but I really don't recommend trying to ingest oils outside of Young Living. Most of Young Living's oils are rated as generally regarded as safe by the FDA for ingestion. And there are so many ways to use them. Because they are pure plant-based products, you're only going to need a drop or two. You're not going to need a whole lot of oil. You're not going to want a whole lot of oil because it's going to be very overpowering in your system, in your mouth, or the flavor. You can put a couple drops of essential oil into an empty vegetable capsule, which you can buy at your local health food store or even through Young Living, and create capsules that you swallow, that you ingest based on your health needs. You can also put a couple drops of oil in a glass of water. So if you love a flavored water and need to switch things up, you can use something like lemon or peppermint to switch up the flavors of your water and to get the health benefits as well. Make sure you're using a glass container or stainless steel, but I really prefer glass, and not plastic when you're using essential oils in your water, because your essential oils can actually break down plastics, which is not good when you're getting ready to ingest them. We hold on to plastics inside of our body just from things that we come in contact with in the atmosphere. So when you're ingesting oils, they actually do a really amazing job of helping your kidneys and your liver to cleanse any sort of plastic byproducts that are in your body, which is super because we want to get that stuff out of our systems. And another great way to use oils internally is cooking and baking. And I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to do that as well as we go through this kit. So what do you guys say? Well, let's jump. I'm gonna click back over to this and make sure I don't have any crazy questions. And they're not crazy, but I just hate that I can't see these live here. Oh yeah, somebody said that they love to add oils to their Ningxia Red, which is an amazing antioxidant supplement that I'll talk about at the end as well. All right, you guys, I'm going to run through this kit, and if you have favorite uses of these oils, please shout them out in the comments below as I am going through, because there's no way that I could ever cover every use of these oils in 30 minutes, you guys, promise. All right, I'm going to start with the powerhouse that got me started and hooked on Young Living oils to begin with, Thieves. So this is a blend of 5 oils: clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary, and lemon. And it comes from, the name itself comes from a legend of these thieves that used to rob the bodies of the dead and dying during the bubonic plague. When they were finally caught, they exchanged their secret for their freedom. So the way that the plague worked was that when you got around a body, that you contracted it and you also would eventually die, except these people kept going from gravesite to gravesite and robbing people and not actually dying. So they said, hey, what are you doing? And they shared that they were using a blend of dry herbs that mimics what is in this bottle in cheesecloth, and making a mask that they held over their nose and mouth so that they weren't coming into contact with the same stuff that was getting everybody else sick. So Thieves is one that is amazing for cleansing and purifying. It is so, so great for immune system support. This is actually a great time for me to show you really quickly. There are going to be 2 color labels. These are not the same oil, but just go with me for a second. This one right here with the white label is Thieves. This one right here is Frankincense with the red label. So the white label is Vitality. Vitality. Young Living has multiple Vitality oils, and we'll see lots of them pop up tonight. This just means that the oil is safe for ingestion, and it's going to be labeled on the side for ingestion. The contents of the bottle, like if I had a Thieves Vitality and a regular Thieves bottle, the contents of the oils themselves are the exact same, but the white label is going to be your cue that it is okay to ingest should you choose to do so. We love to diffuse Thieves pretty much all winter, fall long, especially here in my husband's chiropractic office, because we have so many people coming through and all the germs, and we don't want any of them. We would just rather people keep those to themselves. So we keep those running in the diffuser all the time. We also love to make a really delicious apple cider with this. So we'll use a really great organic, unfiltered apple juice, a couple drops of Thieves Vitality, and a couple drops of Orange Vitality. Stir it up, and it makes it a fantastic spice cider. It's also really great for my kids' immune systems, and they don't know because it tastes delicious. So that is my mom hack tip with Thieves. All right, let's jump on to Panaway. We just stuck. There we go. Panaway, I showed you guys this just a second ago so that you could see this label. Panaway is going to be the oil that I always say kind of turns the non-believers into believers, because you can feel it going to work. If you put Panaway on a sore joint, a sore elbow, you're going to feel, or sore muscle, you're going to feel it working. You're going to feel it, you know, heating up and getting cool and kind of taking care of your body. So Panaway is fantastic for just minor aches and pains. You know, if you're outside in the summertime and you go to the lake and you are really brave and go, you know, water skiing, you haven't done that in years, you might need Panaway the next day. If you're raking leaves for 8 hours when the fall hits, you might need Panaway the next day. If you shovel the snow during the winter, you might need Panaway the next day. This is also a really great one to add to Epsom salts to soak your feet after a lot of travel, after a night of wearing high heels. All sorts of reasons to use Panaway. It also is a really great one for athletes to keep in their gym bags. So as the fall months roll around and high school sports are getting ready to go back into full swing, Panaway is a great one to keep in your favorite athlete's sports bag. And I promise his teammates will probably adore it as well. All right, the next oil that I'm going to show you guys is frankincense. Frankincense is an oil that I actually didn't love the smell of, which is crazy to me now. When I very first smelled it and I very first used it, it is super earthy and grounding. Frankincense, oh, I just think it's so amazing. We know it most popularly from the Bible. We hear how, the 3 wise men brought baby Jesus gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh are 2 oils. And whether you believe in the Bible for biblical reasons, I think we can all agree that it is a very famous historical text. So we know that frankincense trees have been around for a long time. Frankincense is an oil that is actually distilled from the resin of the frankincense tree. So they cut the side of the tree and it bleeds this resin. They harvest the resin, pack the resin into the still, and they shoot the steam through the resin. So frankincense is fantastic, like I said, for grounding. So if you have occasional anxiety or stress, it can be really helpful. It's great for massage, for skincare. Young Living also has a whole line of skincare products, and I don't think you'll find a single Young Living skincare product that doesn't have frankincense in it, because it is so great for stretch marks, for fine lines, for wrinkles, for age-shot spots, for sunspots, for all things skin. It is also really great for diffusing during meditation or prayer, just to help bring out those feelings of grounding and purpose. Frankincense also comes in a vitality label, which means that I can tell you that it is fantastic to support normal cellular health. Hear me. When our cells are not functioning normally, so they are abnormal, and they start to multiply in an abnormal way, that's when we run into a lot of really scary things inside of our bodies. So I love to put frankincense vitality into my Ninja Red, which is that antioxidant drink that I mentioned before, on a daily basis to keep my cells inside my body functioning at an optimum level, okay? Ningxia Red, I'll just do a little aside on this real quick. This is made from wolfberries. There are a couple little packets, sample packets of these in this kit that I'm talking about with you guys tonight. And it is the wolfberry or goji berry from the Ningxia province of China is so highly rich in antioxidants. The oxidation process occurs naturally around us every day. When you cut open an apple and leave it on the counter and it turns brown, that's oxidation. A rusty hand railing, that's oxidation. And that happens to our blood. Oxidation happens to our blood inside of our body, but we want to slow down that process. It happens more rapidly as we age and based on the foods that we're eating. So we want to slow down that process as much as possible, which is great, which is why it's so great to have an antioxidant to put back into our systems. Cool. So we love this. My kids have never had juice boxes before, but they totally tear the tops off of these Ningxia Reds and stick a straw in them, and they think it's like a Capri Sun that their friends have, but they have no idea that theirs is really good for them and their friends' Capri Suns are not. So fun. Okay. Next oil that I'm going to tell you guys about is peppermint. So peppermint, this is a Vitality bottle, but it can be diffused or used topically or also used, in your favorite dish. Peppermint is very cooling to the touch, super energizing. I love to mix this with citrus oils in the diffuser to kind of get me up and going in the morning. It's fantastic for focus and concentration. There's some really great studies out there. If you're someone who likes to research about peppermint and test taking, go do some searching on that. It's really good stuff. Really great for exercise and sports because peppermint is actually a vasodilator. So it causes your blood vessels to dilate, which allows more blood and in turn more oxygen to go through your blood vessels, which is why athletes often perform very well when using peppermint as part of their exercise routine. It is also really fantastic for digestion. So my husband always also carries a bottle of this around. He's type 1 diabetic and tends to when his blood sugar changes, the scent of his breath changes. And so he always keeps a bottle of this in his pocket so that he can have nice, fresh smelling breath, regardless of what his blood sugar might be doing in that moment. And he also doesn't have to sit and chew gum while he's talking to patients, right? So this is a really great way to kind of keep your breath fresh. It's really delicious as a food flavoring. So you're not going to want to put a whole drop. Promise. Take a toothpick, stick it in that little hole right there, and tip it over, and then swirl your toothpick into coffee if you like peppermint coffee, or hot chocolate if you like a peppermint hot chocolate. Mix a delicious peppermint brownie, add a little bit of peppermint vitality to your brownie mix. Bake it in the oven. You're going to totally impress somebody at your next potluck, I promise you. It also is really fantastic in combination with lemon and lavender for changes in the seasons. So folks who tend to have like seasonal allergies just from increased pollen count, will add those three together in a roller bottle and apply it to their chest, or even in a capsule, and swallow it internally to be able to just open themselves up and breathe a little bit better as the seasons are changing. All right, that brings me to lavender. It's a great time to talk about lavender. Lavender is considered the Swiss Army knife of essential oils. My husband also doesn't love the smell of lavender. Most people do, but I just want to tell you guys, if you don't love the smell of something, it's okay. You can still use it for its medicinal purposes. That is why these plants are around, for us to use and to have our bodies benefit. So you can add a couple drops of this to bath salts, add a drop on your pillow at night before bed, or add it to a diffuser. Folks love to add lavender and cedar wood together. It's a really popular combination in a diffuser on the bedside table at night. Fantastic combination just to help promote a restful night of sleep. It's also fantastic for skin. It's one that I always keep in the kitchen next to the stove in case I accidentally touch a hot pan. Really soothing on the skin. I also have to tell you guys that I was just shocked when I saw really different results when I was using my sister-in-law and I were using another brand of lavender on her son when he was, maybe 18 months old. She had heard it was good for the skin, and so she applied lavender and some coconut oil on her son's back, turned around to go wash her hands, and he lit up, screaming like wildfire. His back was bright red, and we couldn't figure out what happened. Later, we learned the difference in all of the different companies all over the world and how many of them dump chemicals into the still, like I was telling you guys about, and ultimately those chemicals then end up into the in the bottle, which then ends up on our bodies, and then it removes and can even it removes the medicinal properties and can even damage the skin of the end user, which is not what we want when we're using this topically. I also have to tell you guys that I learned that France exports 100% more lavender than it produces, which the first time I heard that, I was like, what? How? That doesn't even make sense. But there's a second plant called lavandin, and it looks and smells just like lavender. And companies got smart. They realized that people liked the scent of lavender soap and lavender shampoo and lavender bath salts and lavender bubble bath and lavender all the things. And so lavandin is less expensive for them to grow and produce. So they started selling lavandin to folks to, put in all these lavender scented things, which is lovely if you don't want the medicinal property of the oil, if you just want the scent. If you want the medicinal property, it can be really dangerous. Lavandin is really, it like exacerbates a burn, really not good if you touch a hot pan and you apply lavandin to it. Lavender, on the other hand, is super soothing in a situation like that. So it's really important that you know and understand and trust what's going on inside that bottle that you're using. And when I saw those examples, and when I talked to a good friend of mine, her name is Danette, Dr. Danette, she's a naturopath down in Dallas. When she was visiting different farms in France, she saw firsthand, she first heard the beep, beep, beep sound of a truck backing up, and she watched a truck dump chemicals into a still of lavender so that they could extract more oils. And when I heard those stories, I was just shocked that things like that were allowed, legal, and then people could turn around and still put pure on the label. So you guys, it's so important that you are, using a company that offers you the transparency that Young Living allows us. So lavender is also amazing for your emotions. It can be used in cooking too. It makes a really mean lavender lemon shortbread, lavender lemonade. There's a million different ways to use it in your cooking as well. Again, you don't have to use a whole drop. Grab a toothpick, stick it in that little hole, tilt the bottle upside down, and stir the toothpick in until you get the desired flavor that you're looking for, okay? All right, our next oil that we are gonna go over is Raven, also stuck in here. Raven is a blend that is based off of the main oil of Ravensara. The best way I can describe Ravensara is kind of a mix of eucalyptus, so that smell that you might recognize from something like Vicks VapoRub, and like a peppermint. It's a little bit mintier than eucalyptus is. But Raven is a fantastic oil. It's a blend of 5 oils, several eucalyptus oils in there as well. And this is great to dilute and apply to the back of your neck, to your chest. Make your own chest rub for winter months for your kids. Put it on the bottoms of your feet. Also a really great one to put on your chest when you're exercising. We know that if you breathe deeper when you're exercising, that you increase the oxygen content in your body. When you have more oxygen cells in your body, you're able to perform better. And so the deeper we can breathe as we are exercising, the better our performance goes. So Raven is another one that is great in the bag of an athlete. It's also really great to keep in the diffuser next to the bed during the cold winter months when we just might be feeling a little bit more congested, when we just might need to kind of keep the airways clear. Put it on the diffuser next to your bed. And my hack on this too, you guys, I kind of talked about this at the beginning. I put a couple drops on a paper towel or on a washcloth and slide it in your pillowcase cover. If you need it closer to your face than that diffuser, then put it closer to your face. Stick it in your pillowcase or stick it in your child's pillowcase so that it can be very close to their face so they can breathe it in all night. I promise you it works wonders, and you just need a couple drops. Great thing about these oils is that you're really, using things that are costing you pennies per use. They go such a long way because they are so daggone potent, which is super exciting to me and was super exciting to me as a young mom for sure. All right, the next oil that I'm going to share with you guys is Citrus Fresh. I love this oil because it's a blend of citrus and there's a little bit of spearmint that you can smell right at the very end. This one is a great one to flavor your water with as well. Super uplifting. I love this in a diffuser to kind of get the day started, especially in the wintertime when maybe we haven't seen the sunshine in a while. This is like sunshine in a bottle for your kitchen or for your kids' rooms when everybody's feeling kind of grouchy. Very good for your emotions in terms of staying in the present, feeling positive, and it may help with occasional anxiety as well. This is a really great one for supporting your lymphatic system, great for lymphatic massage. A note on all of these citrus oils though, you guys, is that they are photosensitive, which means if you apply them on your skin and then you go out into the sun, you will burn. That is how fruit ripens on the trees. It just kind of like burns right into place. That is what will happen. So make sure that you wait at least 8 hours before you go in the sun. Anytime that you're using a citrus oil or an oil like bergamot. Bergamot is another one that is photosensitive. So just wanted to throw that out there. No, we really don't want anybody having any sort of burns because of the way essential oils work. All right, the next oil that I'm going to share with you guys, I will promise you, works like a charm. I don't like the way it smells. I've been using it for almost 8 years, you guys, and I still don't like the way it smells. This is called Digize. Digize is an amazing digestive support oil. Amazing. So good for natural detox, great anytime you are traveling. I know that anytime I am traveling to new cities and maybe drink water or eat different food, one of the worst things that you can deal with when you're traveling is any sort of upset stomach, and Digize will be your best friend. You can put this in a capsule and swallow it. You can put it under your tongue and just kind of hold it there. You can put it in a glass of water and ingest it that way. You can also rub it directly onto your stomach, or if you hate the scent, rub it on the bottoms of your feet. This is somewhere that the pores are the largest on our body, and they rapidly absorb into, allows oils to rapidly absorb into your system. So if you hate the smell, put it on the bottoms of your feet, put socks over your feet, and then jump into bed and keep your feet under the covers. That's the way that I warmed up to Digize when I very first started using it, okay? But this is one we never, ever, ever travel without. I actually just came back from Young Living's big conference last week in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I took a ton of oils with me. I don't take all of them on the airplane. I actually check a lot of them, but I always carry Peppermint and Digize on the plane because the last thing that I want to deal with on the plane is any sort of stomach issues. The thing that was really interesting to me about Digize when I very first started using essential oils though, you guys, is that in the world that most of us live in, if we, let's say are having digestive issues where we're going too much, we're going to run to the store and get one type of medication for that. If we are throwing up, we're going to get a different kind of medication for that. If we are stopped up, we're going to get a third kind of medication for that. And Digize is all of the things because we're not focusing on just taking care of the symptoms. We're focusing on helping to create a healthy digestive tract. And when you focus on just having an overall healthy digestive tract, all the things work the way that they're supposed to. So that was something that was just like a very surprising thing to me to learn. And until you put it into action, it probably sounds a little bit crazy, but I promise you it's how it works. It's so, so good. So Digize will totally be your friend. All right, the next oil I'm going to show you guys tonight is lemon. Lemon is a vitality option here in the kit, but this is one I don't even have to explain to you how it smells. Like, you guys know how it smells. It smells like lemons, which is so good. This one is one that can be used in a glass of water to freshen up your water. It's a great liver detox if you're going to drink it that way. Make sure you're using a glass cup. I love to use it in salad dressing recipes, in marinades for fish, in marinades for chicken. Y'all, if you've never cooked with an essential oil, be prepared to be blown away by flavor. You can use a full drop or 2 drops sometimes when you're making marinades. And the thing that I love about essential oils is that they seep into your meat or your vegetables or your fish, versus dried herbs just sit on the outside. So because this is a liquid, it actually really infuses your meat or your fish or your veggies, and you're going to get a flavor unlike anything you've ever experienced before. Plus, you're going to have a much longer shelf life with your essential oils than you are with fresh lemons or fresh thyme or fresh basil or whatever in your kitchen. So it's such a money saver in my kitchen, because I'm not going to the store and buying a sprig of whatever for $4, and then I only need this much off the top of it, and the rest of it rots in my kitchen. So I also love these because they're much tinier than my big spice jar, so they take up way less space in my kitchen too. And my kitchen, I don't have a ton of cabinet space in my kitchen, and so that's a huge thing for me. Okay, lemon also is great for uplifting, great for energy and focus. It is really fantastic for cleaning too. If you have ever gone to TJ Maxx and bought a picture frame and had those, that sticky stuff on the glass, this is so good at taking sticky stuff off of glass, at taking stickers off of a t-shirt that you might have washed of your kindergartners in the washing machine. We've all done it. It's not fun to get that stuff off, but it does such an awesome job. I've also used it to take Sharpie off of my kitchen table, off of my wood table. It does magic things, I promise you. Lemon is totally your friend, and I never travel without it. Lemon and peppermint are really great off the record. I love to use these if anybody spikes a fever in our house. So stinking effective. And another thing that I didn't say about peppermint, you guys, is that when you smell it, it's not going to smell like a candy cane. If you have ever taken the time to smell essential oils elsewhere and peppermint smells like a candy cane, that is your signal to turn and run the other direction, because it is adulterated in some way, shape, or form. When you smell peppermint in the forest, on the ground, it is a green plant, and it should smell like a green plant out of the bottle, okay? Okay. All right, the next oil I'm going to show you is Valor, which I kind of showed you guys. Oh, I'm so bad. This is like backwards when I do it. Sorry. Which is I kind of showed you at the beginning. It's got this really beautiful blue color to it. Let's see if I can show you. Woo! And Valor was actually, there you go. Valor was actually out of stock for nearly 2 years. It just came back into Young Living's Premium Starter Kit back in February of this year. It was out of stock for so long because Young Living couldn't produce enough black spruce or enough blue tansy in order to meet the demand. Rather than putting a lesser quality product on the shelf, which they could have, they had multiple harvests, multiple shipments of different parts of this of the blend, but it didn't meet their standards, so they sent it back. They didn't want it, and they didn't put it on shelves for us. It made people mad, but it also made me really thankful that we have a company that's willing to look out for our well-being. They always preach that that their products are created for purpose over profit. And when Valor, we call it Valorgate, when Valor was out of stock for 2 years, there were some sad folks, and they could have made a lot of money putting a lesser product on the shelf, and they didn't. Valor is made of oils that come from a blend of spices that were put on Roman soldiers before they went into battle. Helps to increase feelings of confidence. It's super duper grounding. It's got that amazing black spruce in it, and it actually has Northern Lights black spruce in it, because the way Young Living solved the shortage of Valor was to go and buy a farm in British Columbia, Canada, of these black spruce trees that were 60 plus years old, to harvest and replant. And it is this amazing, beautiful farm in Canada now that we as members can go visit, which I just absolutely love. Valor is my oil that I like to keep on hand when it is almost time for my husband to be home and my kids are driving me crazy. I like to keep it on me when I'm in traffic. I like to keep it on me when it is not appropriate to have a glass of wine. We all know that sometimes that happens. So Valor is my oil that you will always find Valor on me somewhere, in a pocket, in a purse, maybe multiple bottles. That is not uncommon. It's one of my very, very favorite oils. I say that about a lot of oils, but Valor very much so. There are 2 more oils I want to share with you guys tonight before we wrap up. One of them is this little light green bottle. It is called Stress Away. To me, this smells like margaritas on the beach. It has lime, copaiba, vanilla in it. This is kind of my husband's version of Valor. One thing that's really important to note is that what works for me may not work for you. And what works for you might not work for me. My husband also loves Valor, but his body just responds super well to stress away. So when we are traveling long distances in the car, I make sure I pack the stress away somewhere that I can find it for him. He loves to drive. He doesn't ever want me to drive. I'm a really good driver, but he likes to drive. But I always keep this in case we hit traffic, in case the kids are stressing him out in the back seat. Minivan land is fun to drive, but sometimes you need a break, and I'll pull stress away out for him. Anytime you're going in for a job interview, first day of school, any of those things, these emotional oils are huge. Valor is really big for my 7.5-year-old. He's a highly anxious kid. It's just who he is in his personality. And we try to equip our kids at a very young age with these emotionally grounding oils so that they have a tool. It's really hard for kids to express and verbalize how they feel sometimes, but they have a tool that they know they can reach and grab for when they're feeling uneasy, when they're feeling shaky, when they're feeling buzzy, whatever those words are that you use with your little kids, like these, they are real emotions, and these are real oils that can totally help them. And this is the last one I'm going to share with you guys tonight. This is Peace and Calming, does exactly what the label says. So this one has the same blue tansy in it that Valor did. This was also out of stock along with Valor for 2 years, and it was awful, and it was so sad, and it's now back in our starter kit as of January. So beautiful. It's got some amazing citrus oils in it. I love this one in Epsom salts for a bath to wind down before the end of the night. I love this one in a diffuser in a child's room to help them fall asleep before bedtime, before nap time. Getting your kids and your family into a regular routine and pairing your sense of smell with it is so impactful. I didn't share the story with you. I'm going to share it real quick. It's not even really a story. It's kind of science. My husband's a chiropractic neurologist. He can totally go into all these details. I'm going to pretend like I totally understand these details. I do, kind of. But our sense of smell is the only sense in our body that does not cross sides of the brain. So if I touch a hot pan with my right hand, it's actually going to have to travel all the way to the left side of my brain, and then travel back down to my right hand to tell my hand to move, to tell my hand that that's hot. If I hear something in my right ear, it travels to my left brain, and that my left brain tells my ear what I'm hearing. With my sense of smell, it actually goes straight from the right side of my nose to the right brain, and from the left side of my nose to the left side of my brain. This is important because it means that our sense of smell and recognition and emotion is very fast. Our senses of smell are located directly next to the emotional centers of our brain, which is why the emotional support piece of these oils is so huge. It also means that we have the ability to change the balancing of our brain with these oils, which is so crazy cool, you guys. So women are typically, nobody shoot me here, but are typically more emotional than men. We typically use the right side of our brain more than the left side. The left side of our brain is typically more analytical, more to the point, more, the list maker, the checking off of the list, those sorts of things. The right side of the brain is the nurturer, the caring part. If you are someone who maybe struggles to fall asleep at night because your brain races, your mind races with all the things you have to do tomorrow and all the things you might forget and all the people you love and all the people that you need to talk to, that's the right side of your brain talking to you. Sometimes we need to turn the right side of our brain off. We need to say, go to sleep. And the way we can do that is actually taking an oil like a citrus oil, like lemon or orange, something that our brain quickly recognizes. If the scent is too complex, our brain tries to figure out what the scent is rather than just changing. So if you use a scent that's recognizable like lemon or orange, and put it under the left side of your brain, of your nostril, it's going to tell your left side of your brain to switch on. And the sides of your brain cannot talk loudly at each other at the same time. So if this side's talking really loud, then this side's very quiet. If we want this side to stop talking so much, we have to turn this side up really loud, and then this one has to kind of stop talking. So if we put the oil under the left side of our nostril, it's going to make our left brain wake up, go to the more analytical space and give the right side of our brain a break, which will allow us to go to sleep or fall back asleep if you're someone who wakes up in the middle of the night worrying about all the things. Is that not so crazy? You can also do that, or have your husband do that the opposite way if they are someone who likes to fix and problem solve and not emote the feelings. Have them put some oil under the right side of their nostril and just sit and listen and be present with you. And it's amazing how it will dampen their left brain activity, increase their right brain activity, and let them use those emotional parts of their brain more than the analytical problem solving side of their brain. Crazy cool, right? I think essential oils are absolutely amazing. So let me show you really quickly, we're almost out of time, some of the other cool things that you'll find in this little kit that I went over. So I just showed you guys 12 different essential oils. Also inside this little kit is a little thing called a roller bottle top. You can actually turn any of your oils into a roller bottle, so it makes it really easy. You just pop the lid off, stick the other lid on, and screw this down and pop it into place. So easy. And then you can just rub it on and use it as you need to. Way less mess, really convenient. So there are a couple of those roller tops in there. You're also gonna find a bottle of this Thieves hand sanitizer, which we totally love to, wipe down our hands when we're out to eat, when we're in a public restroom, and I don't wanna use the hand soap on the wall because of the really toxic chemicals that are in there, but I want to get my hands clean. I want to keep the germs away. This is my choice. I always keep this in my bag, my diaper bag. Also in here are 2 of these little sachets of the Ningxia Red that I was telling you about. So when you grab your kit, make sure you take these out. There's a second layer. Let me show you guys. So there's a box like this. On top is going to be this, and when you lift this out, there's a second layer underneath that has a few more goodies hiding. So when you get this, make sure that you get these little things out, throw them in your refrigerator and chill them so that you can have the chance to enjoy them. And also in this kit is a bottle of Thieves spray. This is really great for cleaning surfaces, and you didn't hear me say this, but this is the best throat spray on the face of the planet. I know that sounds crazy because you don't want to spray your throat with the same stuff you use on your surfaces, but when it's all plant-based, and even that there's alcohol in here, but it's denatured alcohol that's denatured with cinnamon essential oil. But when it's all natural, you actually can use the same stuff to spray your surfaces that you put inside your body, which was also a really hard paradigm shift for me. So if you're not quite there with me yet, it's okay. But know that that's there as an option if you want it. So the thing that's so cool, and the reason that we wanted to make sure that you guys knew about this amazing kit of oils tonight, is that Young Living actually has 2 different starter kits on sale today and tomorrow. The starter kit I showed you with the 12 oils plus all those little goodies at the end comes with your choice of this dewdrop diffuser, which is absolutely fantastic. It works just the same as the lantern. It's just got a little different shape. Or the lantern diffuser, which I showed you over here. This one's a little heavier duty. It's glass and metal. The other one is mostly plastic. But these are awesome options, and they are both 10% off with the full kit today and tomorrow. Young Living does not do these starter kit sales very often, so it's a really great time to take advantage. If you've kind of been thinking about it, sitting, looking back, watching your friends using these things, it's a good time to jump in. Another thing that you need to know about these starter kits is that they come with a 24% off membership, so that you get 24% off of any other Young Living products for the lifetime of your membership. As long as you place an order once a year, you remain a member. So it's not like, any sort of crazy sign-up fees or anything like that. You just purchase the kit, it gives you your wholesale membership, and it's going to give you your discount. The other thing that I think is super cool is that we can offer you is an amazing Facebook group that we have here online. Not this small Facebook event, but we have a group of folks just like you in all ages and stages and walks of life who are really just trying to figure out life together. We call it Essential Sisterhood. We actually call the Hangout group and the Product Education group the Hood, because we know we have men out there who don't feel so fancy being sisters. But we really just are like this big family where we work together to help solve problems, to help make suggestions, to help make this easier, because we never want you to feel overwhelmed. And here's the thing that you guys need to know. Somebody invited you to this class tonight, and it wasn't me. I want you to go back to them, or that person reach out to you, and they're going to be able to give you a link to grab this kit. Remember, the one that they give you, that they're going to give you for today and tomorrow, will allow you to get 10% off of this bundled kit. Typically, these are about $400 worth of products, and I can say that for sure because if you bought each of these oils individually here at my husband's chiropractic office and bought a diffuser with it, you would spend over $400, something like $418 or something like that. But they bundle it together for $160. The lantern kit is just a little bit higher because the diffuser quality is a little bit, or $165, a little bit nicer. But with the 10% discount, you're going to get it for even less than that. So it's already discounted half, less than half of what you'd spend here at our office. But you bundle it together and you're going to get an even deeper discount, which is so stinking cool. The lantern diffuser that I just showed you guys has never even been offered in a starter kit before. It's so pretty. And we don't have the option to buy it. It's only for brand new members, brand new wholesale members, which is so many of you guys right now. So I would love to see you guys grab these kits. I would love to see you guys in the hood so that we can help you, support you, bring you in as part of our tribe. We really are like extended family. And if any of you guys are on here and have any questions for me about anything I said tonight, throw them out there. I'm gonna watch them on here. Look, it's me. It's me talking to me. Is that the craziest thing? But if you have any questions, I'm gonna scroll back through here. Please let me know. And like I said when class started, you guys, this class is going to be available through tomorrow night. If some of you guys got on here thinking, I don't really know this girl, I don't know if I'm going to want to watch her, and you've gotten through this class and you're like, she's okay, I think I can share her with my friends, please feel free to add them to this event. I would love to educate them. I would love for them to watch this back, and they have 24 hours to do it, so take advantage of that. I don't do these classes all the time anymore, and so I love the chance to connect with you guys when I can. I think it's so, so awesome. Let me see. Other questions? So somebody said some oils aren't safe for cats. Does anyone have problems with their pets, or do they just avoid some of the oils? So the interesting thing about this is that a lot of the essential oil research out there, which you guys can totally do on your own, you can go to pubmed.gov or also Google Scholar, and you can do all sorts of research on your own. But the thing that's a little bit tricky about a lot of that research is that they don't disclose the brand of oil that they're using. And like I was explaining to you guys earlier in class, there's a really wide range of things people do to plants to get essential oils in bottles. So when there are negative outcomes with certain oils, the research makes it look like it applies to that oil across the board, when really it could be a reaction to something else in the oil. Do you see what I'm saying? So certain oils that we see often, like in Google searches, are like tea tree. Like tea tree is not good for cats. But the interesting thing is that I have some friends who have been essential oils users with Young Living for, Young Living is 25 years old. They've been using Young Living oils since before it was a company. They kind of helped found things from the ground up. I've had amazing conversations with them about how tea tree can do things like help cats who have seizures. Like, really. I know it sounds crazy, but I've seen amazing things happen and heard these amazing stories. So I always tell people, don't write an oil off altogether when you're talking about using them with pets. One thing that I think is really wise when you're using oils with pets is to not leave an animal in a room where they can't get away. Animals are smart. Our dog's sense of smell is very, very strong. So I always advise, start at the ears and go backwards if you're applying oils topically on a dog. If you're using oils around your dog for the first time, don't put the dog in a crate and put the oil on in a room where the dog can't walk away from it. The same with a cat. Don't put oils in a diffuser in a room with a cat where all the doors are closed and the cat can't walk away. I just don't think that that's wise. If an animal doesn't like what you're doing, they will move away from it. I promise you, they are so smart. It's funny, when we get oils out, our dog comes running he'll smell them and he'll immediately start to salivate, and he'll just start licking his lips and licking his lips and licking his lips and licking his lips. And it's just the reaction that is caused with the dog. So we have used oils around our dog since his long, I mean, we had him before we had the baby. And we use oils on him all the time. There are some amazing reference books out there. One is called the Animal Desk Reference, and it's available through Life Science Publishing. And the website is discoverlsp.com.org. I'm going to have to double check that for you. But the book is called The Animal Desk Reference. And I think that is one of the best options that you can use if you're using oils around pets. But I always tell people, don't write things off. Try and just kind of observe and do it wisely. Start low and go slow. And you may be really surprised at the benefits that your animals see. Let's see. Hopefully that helps. Does anybody else have any questions that I can answer for you guys? Maybe not. Maybe that was all the questions. I'll gladly answer anything I can for you. It's interesting too to see how life kind of evolves as you go down this journey. I can promise you the only way that your oils won't work is if they sit in the box. So absolutely do not do that. Do not get this kit and then let it sit on your shelf. Let us help you use it. Make sure you're getting them out and using them and using them and using them and using them, and see what works for you. It's going to work differently for you, and you're going to learn. You're going to learn so much as you gain confidence. When I very first started using oils, I diffused and applied topically a lot. I would rarely ingest oils because I had read a lot of things on the internet that had scared me away, that had made me very fearful. I can tell you very confidently today that I absolutely ingest oils, and I even have my 5-year-old ingesting oils daily right now because of a medical condition that she has, and the oils have been helping tremendously. I'm so grateful for the first 7 years of oil use that I had before having her ingest, because I wouldn't have had the confidence to just start her off ingesting oils right away as a brand new mom and a brand new oiler. I know I wouldn't have. So wherever you enter this journey, just know that it's gonna change along the way, and that's okay. But it's only gonna change if you actually use the oils. If they sit on your shelf, they're not gonna work for you, I promise. All right, it sounds like, oh, does anyone use oils in the classroom? Yeah, we have so many teachers as part of Essential Sisterhood who use oils in their classroom. I send oils to my kids. So I homeschool, but I send my little guys to preschool, and I send oils and diffusers and Thieves hand soap and Thieves cleaner to my kids' preschool so that everybody stays healthy. And everybody needs a Thieves, keep all the junk at home. Yeah, we use them all the time. It's so, so exciting. And it's so great when you have teachers and principals who are on board, who get it. You know, it's amazing the number of chemicals that are used in school systems today that we just don't even question. We don't wonder how they're affecting respiratory health or concentration, or, you know, is that cleaner the reason your kid's been having a headache? We just don't question that stuff. We don't think to. And when you can get administrators and teachers who are on board and who really get it and who want to create a really healthy environment for our kids, it's a win-win situation all around. All right, guys, it looks like I'm just seeing lots of thank yous. So I think that you guys are probably finished with questions. If you think of other questions after we hop off of here, totally post them below. I will absolutely come back and answer them for you. And please go make sure you touch base with the person who invited you here tonight. It has been so great to connect with you. It has been so great to meet you. And I hope I get to meet you in person and meet you in some of our essential oil groups and essential oil meetups that we do all over the state of Virginia and all over the country. We would love to have you as part of our tribe, and we would love to welcome you into Essential Sisterhood and help you along this health journey, this oily journey as well. Hope you guys have a great Thursday night, and we will talk to you again so soon.